welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
We're your hosts, Devin and Anita, and this is our weekly podcast where we grab a blanket and some snacks and talk about all things relationships, growing pains, and navigating through, honestly, life itself.
We hope our experiences encourage others to grow to become the best versions of themselves, and for their relationships. Grab a snack and let's go! What is up, snackers?
Yo, what's going on?
Hello.
Welcome back to the pod.
Yes. Another beautiful Wednesday.
Yes, thank
8
you for
o'clock.
joining us.
This is the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
The what?
The most honest podcast. The most open podcast. And the most wholesome podcast in the world.
Tell them. Let them know. Yes. Welcome back to the pod. I hope y'all enjoyed last week's, situation. I know we didn't drop a podcast, but we did drop our vlog from Asheville.
All the litness.
It was super fun. You got to kind of see our weekend recap. We went through the actual engagement part, which is really nice. So if you missed it, go check it out on the channel at Late Night Snackin' on YouTube.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. That's some good content. It's some wholesome content, not so wholesome content, distasteful language, a lot of it. So all the toxic stuff that you guys like, it's a little bit of that in there. We sprinkle a little bit of that in there.
Sprinkle just for y'all, because we
Just
know y'all like that.
It gets boring being wholesome all the time. I get it.
You gotta spice it up a little bit. You know what I mean? So we don't want to spoil too much, but there is a cocktail contest at the end that does get a little heated. So make sure you tune in for that. It's on the channel. So today is a special episode. It is a guest episode. So I want to welcome our guest, Jamie.
Hello.
I'm very glad.
Well, thank you for having me on the podcast.
Of
Love it.
course.
I was about to say, I was watching last week's episode, and let me tell y'all, I feel like I'm right there in the room with you. Okay.
Okay, good.
I was doing some chores. I was watching the engagement. And it is hilarious that you said you were oblivious. You're like, yeah, we'll do TikToks in the front.
Y'all, I really, I was sidetracked.
Master surprise.
Yeah, I was very surprised. So, yeah, don't miss out on the video to see my actual reaction.
Ins and outs, Taraji P. Henson crying faces, all
right,
that.
that's enough. Anyways, moving on. Jamie, let them know where are you coming from?
So I'm coming from Colombia, the Met, as they would call it. I call it Cola, but that's okay.
Shout out to the Met.
Hour and a half away from the city. I was just telling Anita that it took a lot of effort to be on time today. I've been planning this for a few days now. But yeah, so glad to be on the podcast. 25. I'm a Pisces. Go Pisces gang.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm also, I guess, a recruiter in the city. It's pretty fun.
Oh,
Staffing
lit.
agency. So
Okay.
yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you. We're glad to have you. You came prepared with the snacks, which this is what I love to see. So I think it's only right that we go around the table and share what we're snacking on. So
Absolutely.
Jamie?
Okay. So I have a new snack today. It's Almond Crush Pocky.
Okay.
I think they also come in other multiple flavors, but I said, let's try something new today,
Facts. Love that.
So, what I had for a snack
Oh, brother.
is some fruit snacks. But inflation, they only give you 4 in a pack now. You remember? Before you would get 8, 10. Now they only give you 4 in a pack.
This
So I
is
went
true.
through all of them. So yeah, I got some fruit snacks, packed with vitamin C, real fruit juice. So,
I'm dead. So I started on it because I didn't have breakfast this morning, but we have the
toxic behavior.
Chill. So we have the Millville Sweet and Salty Nut Peanut Dark Chocolate Chunk and Almond Granola Bar. So we're what does that sound? Ew. Devin doesn't like dark chocolate, so he thinks everything with dark chocolate is disgusting, but it's good for you and it's good. But I like tart, bitter stuff. I don't know why. That's my palate. So I enjoy.
You like things that taste like tree bark.
No. I didn't come on here to be attacked today, okay? So anyways, happy Wednesday. Hope y'all are also snacking. Speaking of snacks, are y'all ready to get into unpack the snack?
Yes,
Do we
ma'am.
want
Yeah,
to
let's get
hop
into
into
it.
that? All right, babe. Take it away. What is our special question for the day?
Okay, it's why are we intimidated by our significant other having friends? Do you want to take lead? Well, your mouth is full.
It is.
I guess I can take it away.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead,
go ahead.
Jamie.
Okay, so I feel like this can come from two sides. So
Okay.
first with his male best friends, a little intimidating if you know, like he's hanging around trash males. Like, can I trust y'all when you're having a boys' night out?
Right.
You know, are they thinking with the best in mind? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You gotta be careful with that.
And then we have it from the female side, where if he has a sudden new female friend pop up within the last year or two, you know, and she's pretty, it's like, what are we doing here? What's going on? Where did she
Who is
come
she?
from?
What is this?
Right?
Yeah.
Because not that I have trust issues, but I don't trust everybody. And I
Yeah.
know
You
women, and at this point, if a man has a girlfriend and he's trying to be my friend, red flag. Red flag.
Yeah.
Heard that? Red flag, guys. Don't be friendly.
Flag on the line.
Don't be friendly.
Be mean only. Yeah. I think it's the same thing, right? I think part of it is when your partner has friends in general or friends that they're really close with. I think people who are insecure as far as like wanting to be around their partner 24/7 and not wanting them to have like a life outside of them, like the friends thing becomes intimidating because it's like, oh, there's other people that you like
Right.
other than me, like, you know what I mean? So I think people who like very much make their partner like the center of their world type thing don't like the idea of their partner like also enjoying like other people outside of them. I think part of it is that. And I think the other part is what Jamie is saying, that like it can be like new people that come along that is like, like, who are you?
Yeah.
You weren't in the mix before, like new friends. And then
And I think sometimes it's not even always about like the person, but more of the relationship. Like I think the relationship itself can be intimidating because, you know, I was in a position where, you know, it's like, oh, like when you're around your friends, it brings the most out of you. It's just like, that's the homies, bro.
'cause
Like,
I like them, yeah.
We laugh about a lot of ridiculous stuff that you don't find funny. So
Yeah.
And that's the tea.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
could be.
honestly, it's just the relationship that you have with your friends. I don't think you're supposed to have with your significant other
No,
to a certain
they're
extent.
not
Like,
meant for that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
and so I think, like you said, when that attention is being taken away,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, oh, well, what do your friends have that I don't like, type thing.
Yeah.
And then like, because guys, we do have a lot of weird thoughts and think a lot of weird things. So if you have like you can consider yourself like a 6 or a 7 or something like that, and you have a friend, you know, who's a guy, he's like an 8 or a 9 or something like that. You know, it's kind of like, he's cuter than me, you shouldn't be friends with him type
Yeah.
thing. Like, as weird as that is, like guys really do think like that. It's just like, dude, what?
And girls do too. Like, I think we can vouch that we also think the same thing. Like, when y'all have like attractive female friends
Yeah.
and there's a certain insecurity about ourselves where it's like, I'm not prettier than her. Like, why do you, like, what about her is making you want to be friends with her? Is it
Right.
because she's cute and you want to keep her around and she's nice to look at? Or like, is she actually the homie and like y'all have just been friends like for a long
Right.
time or whatever? Like, I think women definitely have that insecurity too, where it's like the attractive piece. It's always, it's okay if she's a little ugly. You know what I mean? She can stick around, right? But it's the one that's like looking like a little dime piece and you're like, why are you really friends with her? You know what I mean? Like, women think
Yeah.
the same thing. It's very much the same thing. So, yeah, I think it goes both ways. I think it's just an attention. I think the attention piece, just as a whole, it's like, who are you spending time with other than me? What do they look like? What do they act like? Like, what side of you are they bringing
Right.
out? Like, I think it has a lot to do with those things, and I think that can be intimidating. But I think that's something that you have to work on, like, within self and also, like,
Yeah.
at home with your partner. Like,
Yeah, like you can't be insecure in a game like that. Like,
Yeah.
don't be the cute friend, and then you got all the vibes too, and you bring the energy. Like, you lose. You got a target on your back now.
yeah. Yeah. I feel that. Don't be intimidated by that stuff. I think it's just
Facts.
I think it's a conversation you have to have with your partner. We talk about that a lot, that like
Yeah.
a lot of things can just be solved or,
Conversation, bro.
through a conversation, yeah. So, yeah, if you're feeling insecure because your man got a cute friend, tell him. Like, just flat out.
Yeah.
I mean...
And fellas, don't be so quick to blow it off. Just be like, oh, it's nothing. Like, really internalize why she feels that way.
Yeah, I think, and this will go into a whole nother thing, but just like how you respond to, like, if it's like, oh, why are you so worried about her? Like, you start getting defensive, then it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I do have a reason to be, because why are you so defensive, right? So
because we know women.
They
drown in rabbit holes. When they get these little conspiracies, bro.
Oh yeah.
They run with it.
Yeah, we got a whole romantic plot made up in our head. We fell in love, but you fell in love with your best friend. Secretly you're in love with her, you're cheating on us in the back of your behind our back. Like y'all have a whole thing to like eventually we'll break up and y'all will run off into the sunset. It's made up in our heads, like before we even have a conversation with you. 100%.
Toss it.
But Jamie, anything you want to add to that?
I was just about to agree with you. We turned into whole detectives. You know what I'm saying?
Brother.
Like we're looking up numbers.
Yes.
We're doing deep dives on Instagram. Like we know you start breathing funny now. It's like,
Oh,
hold up,
man.
you thinking about her? Why is your pulse increasing? What is going on?
Checking the likes, the comments.
Listen,
Look,
because who else you heart eyeing?
Right.
That's funny. Yeah. Just talk to your partner. I think that's all I can really say. But I think that's why it's like intimidating. I think a lot goes into it more than just like, oh, she's cute or your friend's cute or whatever. But cool. Do y'all want to hop into the topic? Are y'all ready?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So we brought Jamie on today to give us some insight on the dating world. So we obviously, me and Devin are very far removed from that, even a step more away from it now that we are engaged. So we are very far from like the dating pool and what it's like.
Very fresh. We haven't been here long.
Yeah, we were only a weekend. But yeah, so we would like some insight on how like what the dating world is like now. What is it like dating in your 20s? Obviously, like this is coming from like a female point of view, and we would love to bring y'all like a male point of view as well. So stay tuned for that, just to see if there's any like crossovers and stuff like that.
Spicy.
Should be fun. But yeah, so just from like a young, flirty female in the dating world, we want her point of view. So that's pretty much what we're chatting about today. We have some questions for her, and yeah, should be fun. So I guess I'll start off. So how old are you?
I am 25, going on 26 next
Okay.
month.
Twinsies. But yes, so 25 turning 26. How are you dating nowadays? Like, are you meeting people out? Are you meeting people through friends? Are you using dating apps? Like, what is your kind of go-to?
Yeah, so let me start off by saying, first of all, the streets are rough. All right.
I heard that the dating pool has pee in it. That's what they say.
That's what we've been hearing.
rough. Okay. But I will say, so I guess I can't even say recently. Last year I was in a relationship that ended in March, and then that's when I immediately hit the streets, right? Didn't know what I was getting into. I did try the apps, all the things, whether that was Bumble, Hinge, things like that. And now in 2023, I've removed myself from the apps because those are toxic. You know what I'm saying?
It's not safe on those.
It's not. I think the bottom of the barrel of the apps has to be the BLK app because
Chill.
it's a setup, y'all.
Wait, you will not see them as a sponsor on this episode.
Absolutely not.
But you know what? The apps have worked out for people, so that's great for them. But now it's like I'm far removed from the apps. I just be chilling, you know. So if I happen to be talking to a young man, it's because he slid in my DMs, because these men are bold nowadays. And,
Good.
you know, we're kind of going from there, or like mutual friends as well.
Okay.
Like that. Would you say it's like harder to date nowadays?
I think so. Yeah, it's funny because when I talk to other, let's say, men who are single, we can both agree like the streets are rough, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's because we have social media. So people
Yeah.
are able to like cyber stalk you. And now they think they have an idea of who you are, what your personality. Like, baby, don't look at my story. You know what I'm saying? These memes, we're here for a good time, not a long time. We're just having fun, you know?
Just jokes.
It's just jokes.
I joke.
Like, but I just think some people, they have trouble breaking down that wall and being vulnerable. And it's always like, I'm going to get you before you get me. You know, like we're almost like watching each other's moves. Like we're afraid to open up. And then at the end, it never works out because people aren't being authentically them, you know? So that just makes it hard to get to know somebody.
There's a lot of frauds out here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole like dating apps and stuff like that. Now I have no experience with this, so this is literally me like talking out the side of my neck right now. But but I think that has a lot to do with the dating apps and being able to like have a profile and like and just social media in general. Like you're able to create like a profile of yourself, right? So you get to kind of like portray yourself a certain way and stuff like that. So like people don't really know you like in person. Like what is a date actually like? Because me watching your story is like not me getting a full grasp of like you know what I mean?
And just to like piggyback off of that, I feel like with the whole profile, you're able to build this persona.
Yeah.
Compared to if you meet me in person, this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? I'm loud, I'm crazy, I'm doing the most. Like, but if you see that dating app, I may try to put on this persona. And I had to then rearrange my dating app after that.
Yeah.
Because, for example, when I first got on the apps, I was portraying myself as like, I'm cool, I'm chill, I'm casual.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing chill about me. There ain't nothing chill about me.
Very much on 10, huh?
Right. I even after the app, because I was like, yeah, I'm looking for something casual, nothing serious. Got on the app, got a first date, and the guy after like a few hours was like, you're not casual. You want a relationship. And I was like, ooh, not you reading me.
Attacked.
Right. But you really get to put all these things on there. And it's like, is this really me? Because it's almost like you're trying to boost yourself up.
Right.
Yeah.
When if he meets me in person and he's catching the vibe, then like we can go from there, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
There was like some type of weird like algorithm theory to like Tinder and Bumble and those things. Like a certain way you swipe, like you show up more times on other people's things. I don't know how it works, but somebody explained it to me one time. I was just like, it's so weird.
There's like a science
Yeah.
to it.
Like to get swiped more, you have to do like certain things or it's so weird.
Interesting.
The internet is just like a dangerous, creepy circus.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's the
It's just
scary
so
part
strange.
about apps. Like even if there's a way for somebody to show up on somebody's like I don't even know what you call it, but like when you open the app, somebody
the homepage.
Shut up. Like I said, I have no experience with this. So I don't even know like what the layout would be. But like knowing that there's a chance that like some girl can show up more than me, like sucks because like now I have less chances to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, I don't know. Like, and this is coming from the most like whatchamacallit, like isolated, introverted type person. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would much rather meet like in person, like meet somebody in passing in person. There's just too much you can do with a profile to like, but that's just me. And some people like really do find success with that, and that's awesome. But like, woo, there's so many ways you can spin that to like make yourself look a certain way.
And so that's why did I have a question for you? Like, do you find it easier to, I guess, like date more in person than using like the internet, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, like meeting people?
I feel like it's more easier to date in person because you're in real time. That person's approaching you so clearly. They want to get to know you. They like you. But also, and I just missed my train. Oh, I was about to say, with the apps, I feel like we get that instant gratification from swiping and matching with someone. And a lot of times the app will connect you with people who you may have never thought you would connect with before.
Right.
And like, that's good and bad. Like, it's good because opposites attract, but then it's also bad because it's like, do I like you? Am I settling? Or am I just going with this because I know you like me?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. So true. You hit on something earlier because you said that you had gotten out of like a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So what was it like dating after that? Like
Ooh,
kind of
yes.
hopping into a whole new non-relational type space.
Right.
Was that hard?
It was definitely hard.
Yeah.
I know even with me and my former partner, whatever you want to call him,
That guy.
no shade. But it's just one of those things where it's like after the breakup, post breakup, I wasn't even sad about the breakup.
Yeah.
I was mad that I was back in these streets again.
Oh my God, I feel that.
I said,
Yeah, that's gotta be tough.
you really got me. We've been doing this on and off for 5 years, and you got me back in these streets. Okay, and there's
Knowing it's hard out here.
knowing it's
Right.
hard. It's cold out here, okay? And it's like when I was dating in college before me and him got together, it's like when you're in college, you're just trying to have fun.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So you get a little boot thing, you having fun. You're not really thinking about the future.
Yep.
Now, fast forward 5 years, I'm back in these streets, and it's like I don't have time to play games with
Yeah.
these
Right.
men.
You're in a whole different headspace.
Right, I'm about to be
Yeah.
26.
Yeah.
I'm closer to 30. Like, I'm not playing these games no more. And that's what makes it hard because
Yeah.
I will talk to older men or grown men. I don't know. I try not to go past 30. And it'll be like, sir, you coming up on the golden age. Like, why are we playing? Like, we don't have time.
Yeah. I feel that. I
I can
think.
come pick you up in my Scat Pack.
Right.
Like, what the
It's
hell?
like, bro, what? What's your 401k look like?
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's the hardest part. I definitely can relate, but like I think that was the hardest part for me too, is like I was in a totally different headspace, and then you're thrown into a pool of people that are like casually dating and like wanting to do the whole back and forth, like, oh, will she text me back? And it's like, no, I won't. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm in a totally different headspace. Like I'm looking for something like serious, and like you're not, so like I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think your mindset and where your head's at is what makes it hard after that long-term relationship. But would you say, like, from dating around, that chivalry is dead nowadays, or do you?
I'm torn. I
Okay.
think there are good guys out there. And my friends who tell me this all the time, it's not that men are trash. It's just that I'm a trash picker. So I think chivalry is still alive and well. You know, I know one of my Instagram followers, he posted like something with his girlfriend for Valentine's Day where literally I think it was like a dozen roses and in different languages it said, will you be my Valentine or something like that.
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
I was like, hold up, if men are out here doing this, like it's the nice guys.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's dead. I just think that sometimes we get attracted, or like I get attracted to the bad boys.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, men are trash. And it's like, no, I see these bad boys.
Just the ones that I pick.
Right. It's just the ones I think are trash. But there's good men out there.
I love to hear that.
So what's some like common themes you've seen while like dating?
Oof. I think my biggest pet peeve, and I literally run the other way, the common theme is when you ask someone, like, what are you looking for, right? And women, like, I'm the person who's going to say, like, I want a relationship. I want to build. I'm all about relationship. You got to put that on the table because people are scared to say that word. It's almost like...
It's like taboo.
It's taboo, and I
Yeah.
think that we should stand in our ground that this is what we want. And then when I get with, like, let's say a guy who I'm interested in, he may say, like, oh, I'm looking for someone to vibe with. I'm looking for someone to build with. And it's like, sir, what do you mean by vibe?
Right.
Vibe can mean so many things. Vibe will have you in a 6-month situationship, and it's like,
Yeah.
are we still vibing? Like,
Right.
do you want? And then when I tell you, I don't want commitment. What? Hold up.
Right.
What do we mean by vibe? Or they will list everything out they want and still say it's a vibe. No, sir, that's a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? You know? So,
So do you just come out like on the first date and say like, hey, this is my name, this is my age, this is what I'm into, this is what I want. I want a relationship. Are you down to do that? Like,
Honestly, before we even get to the first date, and maybe this is intense, I don't know, but it's like, and I would love a guy's perspective on that, but it's like before we even get to the first date,
Right.
within the first week of texting, I'm just like, so what are you looking for? You know? What do you, because if you are not.
I want to walk out of here so bad and just scream because we literally talked about that and how, you remember we talked about that on the episode and I was just like, I'm more like, hey, when we show up, this is what I want. Are we on the same page or if we're not? Because if not, we need to just like
Right,
slide.
I'm not going to waste your time.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank
I'm not
you.
going to waste your time.
Yeah.
Much simpler. So I'm not, okay.
No,
I feel better.
I think that's great. The only reason why I combated that is because like you did not do that and I did not do that.
Yeah.
So like we can't say that, like we advocate for it, yes, but that's not how this went. Like
Yeah, no, that's not
we
how our
didn't go
situation
into first date knowing that both of us wanted a relationship. Like it kind of just
Kinda
happened. Yeah. And like sometimes it does happen that way, but I think people see this and like then they stray away from being like, oh, okay, well it worked for them and they didn't stretch out their needs before date one. I think it just
but through
like
context,
depends.
we had already met once before. So it was a lot of like the soft pillow stuff that we had skipped over.
Yeah. I mean, we had met before, but again, like I didn't go into date one with the mindset of we are going to be in a relationship because this is what we have both stated we want. Like that was not the first date was totally just like, oh, I haven't seen you in years. Let's catch up. Like we didn't know that it was going to be like a relationship. But I do support people that go in stating their needs because I think that saves you time. Like especially now, I will say this, and I don't know about you, but me, like, I wasn't going on, like, hundreds of dates before we went on our first date. So, like, to me, it was just, like, another date. I can see, like, in Jamie's situation where she's, like, out here dating, where she's, like, I don't have time for just, like, another date. Like, I want to know that you're on the same page as me. So I think it depends on, like, where are you at with your dating? Are you a year into dating and you still haven't found anyone and you're tired? So, like, we don't have time for this. Like, let me know right now. This is going to be a waste of my time. Or are you like a couple months post whatever relationship you were in and you're just out here for a good time? You know what I mean? Like I think it just depends on where you are. But I totally support people like just flat out saying what they want. I think that saves you time. I think that saves you energy. Like why waste, like you said, 6 months on vibes and we're still vibing? I ain't no girlfriend. We haven't gone on a trip. We haven't done anything. We're still laid up in your bedroom.
I feel attacked.
Laid up in your bedroom, vibing, watching movies. I don't have time for this. Like
Burning incense and shit.
Right. Lighting the candles. Let me
listen
just
to
go ahead
Erykah
and put on
Badu. I'm weak. But yeah. So would you say, like, so you've seen some common themes. Would you say that, like, based on what you're choosing, are the men kind of just like a same across the board? Have you met like different kinds here and there? Like
it's like I've met different kinds where, you know, you have some nice guys where maybe I kind of fumbled the bag because I was trying to play hard to get, you know, it's like I need this man to double text me, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like you've had the ones who are bad and you know they're bad from the get-go, but you're like, I don't know, let's make him fall in love. And then 4 months later, you're like, I'm a clown. Like, here's my red nose. Why did I do that?
here's my red nose.
He told me from the beginning he had all the red flags. But it's just, but at the bottom line, I think it's a common theme of even with the good guys, it's like they say they want something, but I just don't think a lot of them are clear on what they want and what that entails because now being 1 year out of like a long-term relationship, relationships are a lot.
Yeah.
They are a lot to take on. It's different when me and my ex got back together because we already knew each other. So all the heavy lifting was done.
Of course.
It seemed a breeze, you know? But it's like now in the real dating world, and I'm having to learn like his favorite color, his mom's name, siblings.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
And if you're not with this, if you're not like really ready for this, then let's be clear, you know?
Yeah. So, because it seems like you're in the point of dating where you're like looking for like a partner, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say that you're like looking for? Somebody who's 25 going on 26 in the dating world, like when you are meeting somebody, talking to somebody for the first time, going on a date with somebody, what are you looking for in somebody?
Yeah, I ask myself this question every day, okay? Because it does change sometimes. I know a lot of times me and my coworkers, we talk about big buckets and little buckets. Have you guys heard of that before?
No.
So
What is
I
that?
think I've heard something similar to that.
yeah, and so it's like big buckets are like the 5 big things you want, and a partner that are non-negotiable, and then like the 5 little things that like they can give or take. You know, like
I
his
like that.
height, his things like that. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I like that.
And so what I'm looking for, I guess, in a relationship, it's like I wish I could put it in a small box.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, the best way to say it is somebody who is invested and into me just like I'm into them, you know, because I am a very open person. There are some big components of that where I do want someone who's outgoing, who's going to go on the hikes and the kayaking, canoeing with me, someone who's going to hit the gym with me, someone who we don't have to have everything down to nitty gritty in common, but somebody who is very open-minded, always willing to try new things. We have similar interests, values, and morals, and someone who is equally invested in me as I'm into them.
Yeah.
Because I always tell people, I feel like I'm very nice. I feel like I'm a great person. And that if I'm all about you, whether it's like a platonic or romantic relationship, like I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know? And so I just want someone who's going to finally give that energy back to me.
you.
Reciprocate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's well deserved, for real. I think
That's kind of like bare minimum.
yeah.
Really, just to reciprocate the same energy you're getting.
I like the bucket situation because I think a lot of people, and this is just my opinion, like dating around have like a list in their head, and like if that person on date 1 does not check everything on the list, it's like nah, like I'm good on it, next. Like, and I think we get sidetracked with wanting certain things out of somebody, knowing that like even your perfect person will not check everything on your list. Like there has to be some give, because it's going to be the same way the other way around. You are not going to.
Did you shut off?
Yes. Okay. Please hold. Sorry about that, y'all. Our camera just like did a thing and we're back. Okay. So like I was saying, vice versa, like you are not going to check off everything on somebody else's list. So like just the same way that they're going to give you grace, like you also have to give that person grace. So like if they're not the certain height you're looking for, or they don't, I know money is a huge thing, especially for women who are very like independent, self-sufficient. Maybe they own their own house, their own car, they have a dog or whatever. Like their life looks a certain way and they want somebody equally yoked or making more than them and stuff like that. Like, are you going to pass up on somebody who is like literally feels like your soulmate because they don't make more than you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it's something that could be worked on. So, and everybody has personal preferences, you know what I mean? But like, it's just something to think about, like on your non-negotiable list, like give that person some grace if they really seem like a good fit for you. So that's just my personal advice to the dating snackers out there. But I like that point, because I think you should have like, here are my non-budges, like if I want to have kids and he doesn't want to have kids, not budging on that. Want to get married, he doesn't want to get married, not budging on that. You know what I mean? Like those are like life values and things like that, that if you are in a certain headspace on that, no, I don't think you should budge. But like other things on your negotiable list, yeah, give them some grace, because like they're going to give you some grace too. So.
And I feel like we also have to be realistic, where, you know, some people may say, I want a man who's 6'4". That's a very small percentage of the world. Let's be for real. You know what I'm saying?
Be fucking for real.
As long as we're not looking eye to eye, like, that's okay.
Right.
I can deal with that. You said you're 5'8". Cool. I'm only 5'2". We can work with that. You know? Or
You're still tall to me.
Right. He's still tall. I'm still looking up a little bit.
Right.
Or even with the money thing, it's just like, especially because just knowing like maybe what type of, I guess, like culture or race you like to date, and thinking of like those percentages where it's like, if I'm making X amount of money and I want my man to make X amount of money or more, I gotta be for real, because it's like already being a Black woman, it's like there's a very low percentage of Black people who do go to college, and so we are trying to get more Black people into college and to increase what's it called, population or student population at universities, especially PWIs. But then after that, like the system is just set up against us where it's hard, not hard, but you really got to work hard to be high achieving, bringing in that 6-figure. And when you're thinking about it, the 6-figure jobs are, what's the word for it? It's tech. It's like things like this, finance, being accounting, things like that. But it's just being realistic. Like, am I really going to find a man in Columbia, South Carolina who's making 70 to 80K or more? Let's be for real. Where he at? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And especially in this age range too, to be 26, like at that point I gotta be for real. I'm gonna take the man who's equally yoked or who has that potential, because as long as he has that drive and ambition, I know he's gonna get places.
And you just hit on what I was gonna say. Like, I think a lot of it too is looking at the type of person and being like, do they actually like know their potential and like want to act on that? Because there is a part too where like you see the potential in them and they just don't, or they don't have the motivation or the drive, and it's like, yeah, but he's gonna be so great. It's like, but does he think that? Because like he might not get anywhere. And we can't date
on potential now too.
Exactly.
Because that will get you messed up as well.
Oh yeah, it will. So for real, like, do they know their potential and do they want to act on that? Are they motivated to like be more? Okay, maybe you're not making 70, 80K like me right now, but like give it 2 or 3 years and like you probably will be, you know what I mean? And like you can't predict anybody's future, but like does he have the drive and the motivation? Because even that in itself is like attractive in somebody. So yeah, give some grace, you know what I mean? They don't have to check off everything on your list. I think that makes you a more open and better dater too, right? To just be open-minded to different types of people just because they don't check off certain things. You're still gonna go on a second date just to see like, where does this go? Do we vibe well together? Like, do we like each other? Give them a chance. But
so question, how do you determine if you're gonna go on a second date with a guy or not?
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Let me tell y'all. Okay, so TikTok has to be like the #1 place to go for dating advice, right?
Of course.
And so one thing that I learned is that to determine if I'm going to go on a second date with a guy, first, although I hate the word, are the vibes there? You know, because there's me being genuinely who I am and feeling comfortable, and then there's me being like, almost like that facade of like, ha ha ha, like having so much fun. But in the back of my head, I'm like, this is mentally exhausting. I'm ready to go home. Shut up.
I'm over it.
But yeah, I think one of the biggest things is his genuine interest in me. And I learned this theory from TikTok, and I applied it once, and we did not go out again. Is the fact that if I'm asking you a question like, I don't know, how many siblings do you have? Where are you from? Tell me about yourself. And you go on and on and on, but you never say, how about you? That's going to determine if we go on a second date, because I want you to also have genuine interest in me as well. And I'm not going to be so quick to give up that information. Yeah. So I can spend a whole date with someone and they'll be like, I really like you. We vibed out. But they never ask me questions about myself.
Right.
And so it's just like, well, what do you like? Like, are you just attracted to me? Like, you said this date went well, but you didn't ask me a single question. You don't know me. You don't know my favorite color. You don't know how many siblings, where I'm from. So that is a big determining factor, because if he's not asking about me on the first date and showing that genuine interest, then like it's almost like a red flag already that I'm trying to ignore. Yeah. But later on, if we do get in a relationship, that may be like low-key narcissistic. I don't know.
Right.
So.
That's interesting. I've never heard that point of view before.
Yeah.
Usually it's if he's late, if he got on dirty shoes, it's something like stupid. Like, but that's kind of wild though. I never thought about it like that.
I mean, but some of those things can be fixed, like, and a little bit like if he's late, like I'm late. You know what I'm saying? Even I went on one date with this one guy, and he was probably like 30 minutes late. Like, I was counting down. I was like, you know what? I'm ready to go.
Right.
But although we didn't have a second date, but we're still good friends till this day, it still worked out. And I'm glad I didn't count him out, because although maybe not relationship material, he has become a really good friend.
Yeah. Good, solid guy. So
we can work on those things, you know?
We like that.
Yeah. But this is what I mean about, like, actually talking in person and, like, meeting somebody in person and getting to know them and stuff like that, because I'm seeing that, like, those are the things that actually matter into, like, is this going to get a second date or not? Like, what was the conversation like on date one? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what you look like. You could be the finest man on the planet, but you can't hold a conversation. Probably not going to go on a second date with you. Like, you have to have some sort of substance to you. Like, was there substance to the first date? Because if not, there's no point in us
Since our first date, we literally covered everything. Just about.
Covered everything, and even like we went to dinner, and then we were talking so much that we did something after. Like, we went to another spot to like talk more. You know what I mean? Like, we couldn't shut up. But that's great, right? Like, those are the things that are determining. Like, okay, we really like each other to the point that like we want to keep talking to each other. That bodes well for like a second date. If after dinner it's like, I think I've seen enough. Then no second date. So. Yeah, I think that's huge. I think what substance do you provide on date one, like, definitely determines is this going to get a second date or not. What would you – so that's kind of like bad date behavior. If you're not, like, into me, you're not asking, like, what about you? You're not trying to get to know me. So what does, like, a good date – like, paint, like, a good date that would get a second date? Like, what does that look like?
So, I have been on a few of those, a few good dates, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I genuinely think it's, first of all, him not being on his phone. Someone who's very, like, in the moment and does not pick it up at all.
Yeah.
Someone who we're having good conversation, but it's not surface level. So, like you don't got to tell me about your childhood trauma, but, like, we're really having, like, a good conversation.
Right.
I'm learning things about you.
Yeah.
You're asking things about me. We can have a little banter back and forth.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing is always activity dates,
Yeah.
because you're not just staring at each other from across the table.
Yeah.
But just overall, I think it's just big on, like, body language. Like, does he seem like he wants to be here and genuinely get to know me? And then, again, going back to that phone thing, not on his phone, not checking his text messages. If it's dinner date, how is he treating the wait staff? Is he being respectful of them? Is he being rude? Like, I know on one of my first dates where I was like, this guy is great. Like, we're going to go on a second date. Was even the fact that we were at Tsunami and the table next to us, I think they were wearing, like, jerseys of his favorite team. But just that he could show he was personable and was, like, talking to them. And then, like, purchased them a round of shots. And they were just hitting it off.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. He was a big spender, but that's okay. But it's just one of those things where it's like, wow, like, this is a second date because now I can see a different side of you when you interact with other people.
Right.
And I'm kind of attracted to that as well because it shows me, like, we can be in a crowd. We can be just having fun
I don't have to worry about you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good. Oh,
that's awesome.
Love that. So what have you, just kind of like wrapping it up here, what have you learned about yourself while dating? Any self-reflection, introspection stuff going on?
Yeah. Some of the biggest things I learned has to be intentional, to mean what I say, and to stand in that truth. If I know I want a relationship, I'm not going to tell these men, like, I'm looking for something casual because that's what they're going to give to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But also sometimes I feel like if a relationship is going wrong or if dating is going wrong, it's just not working out, maybe it's time to step back and just focus that energy on myself. And one thing I'll always remember is that when me and my ex broke up the first time, it was 2018. I was down in the dumps. I was sad. And I was interning at USC's, like, housing department. And I remember one of their assistant advisors told me, like, imagine all this energy you put into young men. Imagine what you can do if you put it into yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
hold
girl.
on now.
Message.
Right. Like, okay, and that's the tea. So it's just learning that at the end of the day to be more intentional, not being afraid to speak up for what I want, putting that energy back into myself at the end of the day if it's not working out. And just at the end of the day, being genuine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put up a front of or try to be like the cool girl. It's like, this is me. This is what I bring to the table. And I mean, hey, I even told a young man, 2023, like, I'm going to stop being coy. Like, I like you. You seem cool.
Yep.
This is what I'm looking for. Is that something you're interested in?
Yep.
And then you go from there.
Love.
Straight to the point. I like it.
Any
No mind games.
none of that, because that's what messes things up.
Exactly.
For real. Any, just around the table, any last advice, dating advice that we want to give to the snackers?
You heard it here, folks. The dating pool has pee in it. Fellas, get your shit together. Ladies, start using your noodle a little bit more.
No,
this is what I'm getting so far. It's just like,
I think Jamie is a great example though, because like this is somebody who like is like she said it herself, like she sees certain patterns, but she knows that like it's choices that she's making. Like she plays a part in the results of what's happening too, right? So like knowing that like you can't go out there and be like every date is failed because you know what I mean? Like you have to do that self-work on yourself and be like, well, maybe I played a part in this too. Like what can I do differently? Because let's be honest, you can really only control yourself, right? You can't control how your date is going to show up. You can't control if they're going to be late. You can't control if they're going to like the scenario that you're in, like how they're going to respond to you. Like you can only control you. So at the end of the day, like that's what you have to focus most on. Like, are you healed from past situations before going on to dates? Do you know what you really want? And are you setting that? Do you know your boundaries? And are you setting boundaries? Like, take care of yourself. I think that would be my biggest advice, is like just making sure that you have you straight, because that's the only thing that you can control in the situation.
Yeah, so. Agreed. I just think at the end of the day, we got to get off the apps, get off social media. And honestly, I think the best way is just to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, go to events, put yourself in those places, not because you're seeking a man, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you generally want to be there. And at the end of the day, I feel like the one who's for you, they're going to pick up on that energy from across the room. And that's when they're going to approach you. So
100%. Ugh.
Just by the environment that you're in, or just like a place that you're in, you know,
you
can find somebody to come with you and be like, hey, and just kick it off. And you weren't even like looking for anybody. You were just totally like in your own your own zone.
Love. Well, Jamie, thank you for joining us. We are going to hop into the hookup.
Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me.
All right, y'all. So it is me hooking y'all up tonight. If you are on YouTube, you can obviously see we are not in the podcast studio anymore. We're home.
Surprise.
In our usual setup. Apologies for the camera turning off and being wonky and stuff like that.
Things happen.
So hopefully we can get that fixed for y'all next week, so that won't be an issue. But yes, it's me hooking y'all up tonight. I'm very excited about this one. Y'all know I'm a foodie. I tried to go as long as I could without doing food hookups, but you
just couldn't help yourself.
I really couldn't. It's true to my heart. I got to do it. So while we were in Asheville a couple weeks ago, we went to, I think y'all saw it on the vlog. Bless you. Y'all saw it on the vlog. If you didn't go watch the vlog, bless you. Are you okay?
Might not be.
Okay.
Send help.
SOS. So if you haven't watched the vlog, go watch the vlog. But it was the restaurant we went to at the end of the vlog, which was Aloha Cafe in Asheville. So hooking y'all up on that.
Fire.
It really was. If you, so it's like a Hawaiian cafe type feel. Jessica put us on. Shout out to Bud. I think she was saying that they came from somewhere. I can't remember. They came from somewhere and they opened up the Asheville location. I think Asheville is the only location that they have. So it's really like a hidden gem that you can only get at Asheville. So you have to go. Yeah, very exclusive. But if you're into Hawaiian food, so like poke bowls, like boba tea stuff, like if you're into that kind of cuisine, this is the place. It's a cafe, so it's set up like kind of any cafe you would go to. Like if you've ever been to like Eggs Up Grill or like anything like that. That's kind of the vibe it gives you. It's really open. It's nice. It's airy. It's got like a nice aesthetic to it. Their drinks are fire. And the main thing I can say about this place, which is why I'm hooking it up, besides the food being literally amazing, The owner is like very personable. So she would literally go to like every table and ask like, was everything okay? How are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Making conversation with everybody that walked in, like literally the owner of the cafe. Like, so I appreciate things like that. I like people who really take time to like
Appreciate their customers.
Yeah, exactly.
And get to know them, you know.
Exactly, because that helps your your return rate. Like you want people to come back.
Yeah.
So obviously she made a good impression because I'm over here telling all about it. So yes, go check them out. Aloha Cafe in Asheville. I'll link their Facebook page and stuff in the YouTube description as well as the podcast description. That way y'all can check them out. I really can't stress enough. Like, it's delicious. Even if you don't like things like poke bowls, they have other options like teriyaki chicken, pork over like rice and stuff like that. So if that's your jam, check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A1.
Let's go ahead and close it down. All right, good people. We're closing it down.
Like all good things
Must come to an end. Speechless.
Well,
I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. We were really happy to have Jamie on. So Jamie, of course, Jamie's listening, but we really appreciate you. Thank you for coming on this episode.
yeah, Jamie dropped some gems, bro.
She
For
really
real.
did. And we keep stressing this with the guest episodes. Like, of course, we just like to see our people and like talk and stuff like that. But we are not experts on everything. Like, the guests are to provide another perspective that maybe we don't have. They can enlighten us on things that we didn't know before. Like, it's really for us to just soak in like another perspective.
Yeah.
So we hope that y'all gain the same thing from the guest episodes. And Jamie's just sweet and funny and nice. So hopefully y'all enjoyed her as well. So yeah, that's all we have for this week. If you are not subscribed to the channel, go pause the video
ASAP.
right now. Right now.
ASAP, no Rocky.
And and click the subscribe button. If you are still a podcast listener, that's okay. We love you. Come to the YouTube too. But if you are still on the pod listening, that's okay. If you're on Spotify, make sure you click the follow button to keep up with the episodes coming out. And if you're on Apple, click the little plus button in the top right to follow the show as well. So yeah, man, that's all we have. Do you have anything else?
I was on the incredible Convo podcast.
Oh, yes.
So you can check that out on Spotify, hosted by my boy Zay.
Yeah, we'll put the link to that as well so y'all can hear gems from this gem on another podcast. So.
Yeah, some other cool individuals, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to 864 Legends, Corey Davis.
Word.
Yeah, shout out to the gang.
Facts. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. We love y'all so, so much. And we will see y'all next Wednesday.
All right, y'all boys.
Bye.
Wait.
Well, by the time we put this out, Valentine's Day would have passed. But hope y'all had a good Valentine's Day with loved ones. Spread the love. Spread the love. Ding. Bye.